So this is 4,134. That's roughly $40,000 worth of soybeans that we have harvested. And a couple years ago, that was easily $60,000. It's what we do in this country. We export food. And we can't do that right now.
The price of soy dropped under the Trump administration, largely the result of the Trump administration's trade war with China. John's crops, diligently planted, meticulously cared for, are losing their value. Are you angry?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm totally mad. There's no reason for it. This is absolute stupidity. This is a man-made crisis caused by Donald Trump. Period.
Soybeans are the largest agricultural export from the U.S. Last year, the value was more than $24 billion. China bought 52% of those soybeans. Since May, the country has placed 0 orders. Instead, China bought the bulk of its soybeans from South American countries like Brazil and Argentina. The cost to produce soybeans has also increased. Prices for fertilizer and fuel have also edged up as a result of Trump's global tariffs and higher international demand.
When the entire Trump tariff war started, the Liberation Day back in I think that was April 2nd or something like that, the stock market fell, people started losing money, and we found out that China was going to Argentina to get soybeans instead of coming to the American farmers. What is the effect of that? Well, apparently, the soybean farmers in America were selling about $13 billion a year worth of soybeans to China, specifically, I believe. Maybe that was their entire market all over the world, but I believe specifically they were selling it to China. So they started losing revenue. Trump is like, yo, I'm going to close a deal. Within 2 weeks, every country is going to want to deal with me. That didn't end up being the case. Yes, we've made some deals, but overall, we've been going back and forth with China, and they're turning up the heat on us. We're turning up the heat on them. Eventually, we got to a point where we said, okay, we're not going to do any of these reciprocal tariffs. Let's just kind of wind things down. Well, they've gotten back to a heated position. I believe Trump just imposed a 100% tariff on China, and we are giving $40 billion to Argentina, seemingly, in my opinion, to get them to stop selling soybeans to China. Even though we're saying it's a bailout and we want to get the Argentina currency because it's undervalued and all of this stuff. What it really is they're selling soybeans to China. We're losing $13 billion a year. It's going to reflect badly on Trump because he said that he could make the deal and the soybean farmers are working. So we're about to bail out Argentina. We're about to bail out the soybean farmers in Middle America. All because Trump wanted to play this game where he was pretending that he knew 4D chess and he was going to get China to come make a deal with us. He was going to get them to come to the table and do what it is that he wants to do. The same way that he said he was going to end all the wars in 2 weeks and do all of this stuff when he came into office. Yes, he's been able to reach a ceasefire deal with Israel and Hamas, but sometimes he overshoots what it is that he's able to do. And in this case, the person that has to hurt from it is the American farmer, who more than likely, they're in Middle America. They probably voted for Trump in the first place, right? So really, they f***ed around and found out, and I'm not wishing that on them. I'm just saying that's what happened. But let's check out this article because Mr. Scott Bessent, who is the Treasury Secretary for Trump, is saying oh, you guys are hurting. I'm hurting too. As if people care. This dude is worth reportedly $500 million, estimated net worth of $500 million. And he wants to, the farm workers to sympathize with him as if he's not going to be all right. He's losing $1 million in profit from his soybean farms. And he's like, oh, you guys are hurting. It's just so terrible. We're trying to get a deal as quick as possible because I'm hurting just like you guys are hurting. No, you're not. You're not hurting like they're hurting. You may be losing some money, but you're not going to be losing your shirt. And if those people have to sell their farms, you just might be the type of person to buy them because you're a competitor of theirs, right? Let's check out this reporting from Axios. It says Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, whose net worth is estimated at more than $500 million on Sunday, said he was sharing in the pain of farm export crisis as a soybean farmer himself. Don't believe that. If you're one of these people in Middle America and you think Scott Bessent has your best interest, and you're a competitor of his, he's going to buy your farm. He's going to get it for pennies on the dollar because you're going to go into foreclosure. You can't pay for your equipment. You can't pay for you can't pay for the farmland. Once you go into foreclosure on that house, or you have to sell it because you can't afford to sustain yourself, he's going to come buy it. He's a competitor of yours. He was supposed to divest from his businesses being in the Trump administration, and he hasn't. He's waiting for the opportunity to snatch up your property because chaos, as Lord Baelish on Game of Thrones said, is a ladder. Regardless of if you think it's right or wrong, chaos is a ladder, and this chaos can be beneficial to him. And then he can come after and clean it up and fix all of the problems once he's had the opportunity to benefit. It says China cut off purchases of U.S. soybeans amid the trade war, depriving farmers of their largest export market and an estimated $13 billion in annual sales. So that is coming directly from China. I didn't know if that was like the soybean market around the world. I don't know if there is a worldwide soybean market that's supplied by the U.S. farmers, but $13 billion ended on April 2nd, the Liberation Day. It turned out that it was not as it liberated you guys from $13 billion. So I guess it was liberating. This has been devastating for the agricultural sector, which is awaiting an oft-promised bailout from the administration. Like I said, we're going to be giving the farmers a bailout. We're going to give Argentina a bailout to the tune of $40 billion. Everybody in this situation wins. China gets their soybeans. Argentina gets $40 billion US dollars. And what does the American taxpayer get? Nothing. We get to also bail out the farmers who Trump screwed. So we get to give however many untold billions to all of these different entities. But when somebody like Zohran Mamdani is up in New York and says he wants to make buses free for what, $700 million a year, that's where they turn and say, oh, that's communist. This is a socialist, radical socialist ideology. But giving money to all of these different entities out of the taxpayer pocket, right? You're going to work, whether it be $2, whether it be 2 hours, 4 hours a day, whatever it is, you're giving part of your paycheck over to the government and the government is giving it to somebody else. That is literally socialism. And we have to pay our taxes, right? There's no way you're going to get around that. But they cry when it's for, they cry and complain when it's for your benefit. But when they're doing it in order to save face about a bad decision that they made, they call it doing good business, which is what they're saying is happening with Argentina, which it's not, obviously. It's cleaning up a terrible decision based on trying to leverage this tariff situation with China. That's devolving into a situation that is out of Trump's control, which was, to be honest, it was never in his control in the first place. It said Besson did the rounds on Sunday morning TV news shows to discuss a framework deal with China, one that he hinted would include relief for farmers. But it was in an interview with Martha Raddatz on ABC's This Week that he sought to cast his own lot in the farm community. His own lot with the farm community. Martha, in case you didn't know, I'm actually a soybean farmer myself, so I felt this pain too. The New York Times reported in August that Besson owns as much as $25 million worth of North Dakota corn and soybean farmland, which he rents out for more than $1 million a year in income. This guy does not feel your pain. He does not know what you're going through when you're a small business in the middle of America and you're missing out on untold of dollars because him and Trump wanted to exercise some leverage that they thought they had that it turns out that they don't. But Scott Besson wants you to know he's just like you at the end of the day. He's going to be okay. Whether it be from Trump, whether it be from his other investments, Scott Besson is going to be all right. You, on the other hand, are going to continue to struggle just like you did before the Trump administration. You voted for Trump thinking that he's going to make your life better. And he's made it exponentially worse. Not only are you losing your business, you're going to lose your property too. Besson has delayed divesting his farm holdings required under an ethics agreement in place since he took office, though he said he would do so by the end of the year. He's going to give it to somebody else that will run it for him, right? He's not going to completely divest and lose out on all of that money. He's talking about how he's hurting as well. You don't think he wants some economic relief? You don't think that he's going to buy your farmland and seize this opportunity to gain more power, more money. This is what these people do. They look you in your face while stabbing you behind your back and telling you that it's the Democrats when it's really them. And is it the Democrats as well? Yeah. But you already don't like them, so you don't trust them in the first place. But you trust Trump, you trust Bessent, you trust his administration to do the right thing by you, and they don't. Time and time and time again. Bessent accused China of using the mostly Trump-supporting agricultural community as leverage against the president, but said the framework deal should solve their problem. See, this is the problem with the entire mindset behind what it is that Trump was trying to do with the tariffs. He thought that he was the only person that could twist somebody's arm and use that leverage against them. What you don't understand is we've been investing in China for decades now. They built up their economy to the point where we rely on them and they rely on us. It's a symbiotic relationship. So when you try to do something to hurt them, they say, okay, well, I'll suffer a temporary pain, but I'm going to hurt you as well, right? And that's where we're at. Let's finish this up. I believe when the announcement of the deal with China is made public, that our soybean farmers will feel very good about what's going on, both for this season and the coming seasons. You got to see it to believe it. That's what he's saying. He's saying, oh, you'll be happy with the deal that we make. You also told us we were going to be happy with the tariffs. So you don't have a very high track record or a very long track record of making a promise and keeping it. But that is a problem for another day. As of right now, they said that they're working on a deal with China. We'll see what it is. We'll see if it's accepted. And then we'll see which type of relief that the American taxpayer will be funding for all of these Trump supporting farmers in the Midwest.